Okay. Ready for class to start. Hello and welcome, class, to 18 things you can figure out about a man by the way he eats. I'll be your teacher for this evening. Okay, I think I might be in the wrong class. I think I should probably... No, please. Stay. Sit. No. I mean it. Sit. No? No. Okay. Alright. I can do that. A date is very much like a job interview, except with a little extra booze and a bill at the end. Well, I've never been on a date that involves booze, but I guess I should probably listen, maybe? Number 1. A man who eats with his mouth full is enthusiastic but a bit young for his age. Don't trust him with a pair of scissors or around your cabinet, but feel free to use his body. He's unlikely to mind. Wait, so why can't a man that eats with his mouth full mean that he's just really hungry? Usually men can be trusted with scissors. And since when does eating with your mouth full is an open invitation to touch people's body? That's very inappropriate. Never, ever trust a man who persuades you to give him the chocolate cheesecake. But then says to the waiter, "Just coffee for me, please." He's controlling, and he likes to watch. Either that, or he knew that you would like to eat the chocolate cheesecake. Maybe it's good at that restaurant? Don't ever, ever go home with a man who guzzles down the best bits of his dinner first. You may not notice him doing this until he says, "I'll have your prawns if you don't want them." Because he doesn't understand that you're savoring them. And he's just a man in a hurry. He wants what he wants, and he wants it now. He's unlikely to use seduction techniques. He's unlikely to buy you flowers. So the amount of seduction that's going to ensue is based on the time that he spends on his food? What? A man that saves the tastiest forkful for last is the man who lives for time-wasting seduction techniques. He knows all about your deferred gratification. He'll give you a head-to-toe massage before even taking your shoes off. He's late for everything, and his girlfriends don't care. I'm trying to decide if that was a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just gonna go with that was a stupid thing. If you were on a date with a man who prods his food with a fork, well, there's a small chance that he is an emotional wreck. Fresh from a breakup and prodding repeatedly to kill the pain. He's probably just nervous. Poor fellow. You know, it is a scientific fact that chimps prod their food when they get nervous. At least I think it's a scientific fact. You know, pretty much all men are like chimps with iPods. So, if your date starts picking his head and screaming, just give him a banana. No. If a man is prodding his food with a fork, then he's probably doing what the fork was designed to do. Move the food around so he could get it into his mouth eventually. Besides, last I checked, men were quite different from chimps. Very much different from chimps. Seducers share their chips. Wait, what? Clever seducers will share their whiskey tart tatin at the end of the most expensive meal you've ever tasted, and not ask for you to split the bill. It's a scientific fact. I'm full of these today. It's a scientific fact that chimps who share their food get more lucky. No, that's not being a clever seducer. That's called being a gentleman who drinks whiskey. And I'm not really liking your scientific facts. They're all kind of derogatory. It's not making me feel any better. If your date makes a comment about a parsnip looking like a willy, and he probably has a willy that looks like a parsnip. The same goes for pretty much every elongated vegetable. Or he's still mentally stuck as a 14-year-old. Now if you take a man home to meet your mother and he makes the parsnip looks like a willy observation at the dinner table, it's okay. You're just having a nightmare. Men like this do exist. But they're socially inept and they never, ever get on second dates. Let alone get invitation to meet a girl's mother. Or, once again, he's still mentally stuck as a 14-year-old. A man who doesn't eat his sandwich crust is in need of a strong woman. You see, he's been scared of crust ever since they made his milk teeth wobble when he was an infant. And the phobia has become more and more embarrassing. You must dominate him until he eats an entire ciabatta loaf. He will thank you for it. Whoa, 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 whoa. You're saying a man that doesn't eat crust needs to be abused by a woman until he does eat an entire ciabatta loaf. And then he will thank her for it? What are you smoking? That's scary, dude. That's scary. That's just, that image is terrifying. It's just, If a man invites you over for dinner, and dinner turns out to be Chinese takeout, he might be lazy, or he might be relaxed, or he might be spontaneous, or low maintenance. You should reserve your judgment to seeing him clean up. Well, you just right there covered the whole spectrum of any possible guy. So I'm trying to decide, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I would think that it's a bad thing. That orders his takeout lunch by numbers, as opposed to words. He doesn't enjoy long conversations. No. He just thinks that women talk too much. Including the woman who just said, "Thank you for your order." You have just rather her just put the phone down. It's so sad, but it's true. Or he's been to that restaurant enough to know the orders by numbers good enough so that he doesn't have to say the order. Did you ever think of that? A man who eats all the free prawn crackers at the end of the meal, even though he says he doesn't like them. He's a man that does not fear commitment. On the downside, he is a bit of a martyr. Okay, what are prawn crackers? How do you know if he doesn't like them? And is being a martyr really such a bad thing? I mean, being a martyr is dying for something that you feel absolutely passionate for. Since when is that being bad? If a man spends hours cooking and preparing a meal for you, but doesn't eat anything himself, he's a diva looking for reassurance. Make sure you don't leave anything on the plate, or he'll feel so rejected that he'll probably attack his kitchen appliances. Wait, what? A man that mentions calories on a date is either A, a self-loather who needs constant reassurance that he isn't fat, or B, he thinks girls like talking about calories. Wait, what? A man that chucks the bit of gherkin from his burger is a man that pays too much attention to detail. You probably noticed the single solitary leg hair you missed. What the heck is gherkin? That sounds like a disease. That sounds unhealthy for you. If I found that on my burger, I would totally chuck that. That doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound very appetizing. Why would you want that? That just doesn't... Besides, if you're eating a meal, you can't see a girl's legs. They're underneath the table. In order to look at those legs, you need to be a pervert. But still, what the heck is a gherkin? A man that wolfs food down is a low-maintenance type with lots of boyfriend potential. True, he may lack certain social graces, such as chewing, but he also lacks hang-ups, and he's very cheap to feed. Cabbage and caviar probably taste the same when nothing sticks to the sides. Wait a minute. So out of all the things you just said, which were 17 by the way, not 18, the ideal boyfriend is an absolute pig at the dinner table. What? You know what? You're very annoying. I'm the expert here.